The Vocal Studio.
Hello everyone! Welcome to the Vocal Studio Singapore's podcast and also YouTube. Find your inner voice. We are the vocal coaches at the Vocal Studio Singapore, and in Find Your Inner Voice, we talk about vocal coaching, singing, music, and then the life around it. Welcome back to our new episodes. How are you guys doing? I am Hanna, and I am the vocal coach at the TVS. And here I am today with...
I'm Coach Haidir, and we'll be sharing with you more about Korean music.
Yay!
Excited to learn about Korean music. Yes.
Yeah, this month, every month in our podcast, we are featuring different specialization of the genres. So last month, the topic was very interesting. It was more close to Haidir's culture, Malay music, and some pop, probably also a little ballads in comparison with different genres of music.
Yes.
So this month, we are going a little deep diving into Korean music. Wow. Happy.
Yeah. So where should we start about Korean music? Maybe we can start with Korean culture.
Korean culture, a little bit. So I was thinking what I wanted to cover was a little bit, maybe yes, cultural side, some story context. I would say the cultural context or the social context in the era where Korean popular music in the contemporary, like as a modern genre, had started its own developing phase. So I wanted to address a little bit about 1980s, music in that period of time. It's a very crucial period in Korea because it's a time where so many, beautiful, like legendary pop artists were given the fame and also became really popular. Before 80s, there were the movements of the artists, and then of course the singers were always there, but some were doing the traditional music, more traditional style, and also 70s was the post-war period in Korea, where there was an army base, right? And also, I don't know whether you are a little familiar with Korean modern history, but it was right after Korean War, which was the 1950 and that, right? So post-war period where the U.S. Army was also based in Korea, and it was massively destroyed. I mean, the economy was really, really difficult. So the whole nation was striving to just build the country from zero. Everyone was hardworking, everyone was very poor. And on top of it, 70s was also a period of time where I would say a little bit of dictatorship was happening. Censorship was definitely there. So which means if there were the singers who were singing for the freedom, about the peace, government, the soldiers will not allow that to happen. So entertainment, a lot of people were listening to the pop songs, Western pop songs. That time country blues was becoming more of a thing, and as I mentioned, the US Army base was stationed in Korea, and the entertainers and also the show performance industry grew around that site as well. It was a platform for them to put up a show or performance or music to entertain the soldiers, or the people in higher rank. So that was more of a purpose. So it was really only in 1980s, I would say, that with also the more access to the radio and then TV programs and stuff, more local music was gaining the power to be to reach out to the whole people. Right?
So basically it's all about how Korean music was practiced, used as a form of expression and also consumption by the
that's a popular music, right? That's basically how the pop music rose. And I do have a lot of love for 1980s, like music in 1980s, because it is very wide in terms of the genre. So now if I tell you about, hey, what do you think about K-pop music? What do you know? What would you share with me?
Firstly, when you ask me about K-pop music, I would think about the three letters, BTS.
Yes.
Yeah, BTS, Blackpink and TikTok music.
Yes.
That's where it currently is. You know, all the music stuff. It gets popular because of TikTok and social media right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting for us to know how it developed into today.
Yes.
Like the sound, the content, and how it developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably, like, if you are more familiar with the Korean culture, you will know a little bit deeply. But of course BTS is there, but a lot of understanding is more into, okay, the strong beat, right, you know, catchy rhythm,
Yes,
and feel, and very nice looking artists, right, who are super good with with a dance, synchronized dance moves. That's amazing, right? So and it's a combination of singing and the rap, always like mixed together. And actually there's a lot more variety than just that, you know, single aspect or like one side of the music that is consumed a little more worldwidely. I do see the value, and it's beautiful. One type of music that's really, really wonderful. But back then in 1980s, there was folk style, right? Definitely a lot of people were doing the folk style, acoustic, and there was definitely rock music, and there was some crossover, you know, initiation to, you know, bring the traditional element of Korean music into the singing, the contemporary pop. And we also have something called trot. It's, if you maybe you know, like the Shanghainese music,
Throat singing? Is it throat singing?
Very nasal way of that's a Chinese song, right? But then in Korean we had something called a trot, that maybe you find it a little bit similar to that oriental feel, and a lot of ballad singers.
Is it the English word throat?
Throat? No.
No.
It's
Okay,
not
because I thought
throat. No, I don't think so. I think trot is a trot. It's T-R, yeah, I think it's like T-R-O-T.
Trot singing. So basically it's describing the technique of singing. Trot singing, right?
Trot. Because like one music genre, it's got very repetitive rhythm as well. That 어머나 이러지 마세요 여자의 마음은 갈대랍니다. My technical approach is really bad.
Is that a traditional music?
It is. It has been, I think, also mixed with the Japanese feel as well.
I see.
Yeah, but so I don't know which, like, you know, which country it started, because it's also close, right? So this trot music it's trotu. We call it trotu. And then I really don't know where the name comes from, but it has a little very like nasal techniques that has that, you know, bending of the notes and stuff, right? So if you listen to the trot, you'll probably find it also interesting. So in 80s was a period of time where all those things were existing together, and another part of the music that I really appreciated about 80s is that the lyrics were very reflective of life. And it was not only capturing just I love you, I want you to love me, I'm leaving you, you're not leaving me.
It's not just
it's
that.
Not just
it's
that.
Right?
There is so much more than that. It's about really observing what the life is like, and then just you know, expressing their thoughts and feelings about it.
Describing the environment and everything.
Yeah.
Metaphorically.
Very metaphorical and poetic and very lyrical. That's what I really appreciate a lot. And even the artists of 2000s, you know, like even these days, very young artists, they go back to 1980s to revisit and then make a cover of those songs, because there is so much value and inspiration coming, you know, from such period of time where you're going through the turmoil, right? The society was like really, people were fighting for democracy in 80s still. So there was a lot of, like, we call it demo, but it's basically on the street marching and demonstration, right? And people just marching on the street, shouting for democracy, for freedom.
So basically that's one of the presentation of Korean music. And expression.
So okay, so this is a little background of now 1980s music. Multiple genres existed. A lot of good artists were there, and the popular music was gaining, like a local rich, like the base, like it was getting very the nutrition. And yes, there were some major platforms where the artists could debut and then make their name known. One was the University Song Festival, which is the competition of the university students, right? With their original songs. So every year there will be like a first prize and second prize. Nowadays there is like, American Idol, like a Britain's Got Talent, and the different variations of it. During that time, there was an annual competition of original pieces. It was becoming more original piece, yeah.
Was it among the school in Korea? Or
it was mainly centering, no, all the university students. As long as you're university students, then you get a chance to audition for it.
So is that a way for the Korean industry to find the next singing talent or songwriting talent?
Yes. It was part of the broadcasting company's TV program that they launched. And they lasted for many years, 2 decades, I think. So one was the University Song Festival. The other one was also mainly the similar artists joined the both programs, but the other one was called 강변가요제, which is like River Song Festival.
River Song Festival.
Yeah, the other one is 대학가요제, which one is University Song Festival. And so if you go there and if you make it to the final round, then people will all watch you, right? So on the TV. So it was a thing for people to debut and as a singer through that stage. So I do have the artists that I would like to recommend, so many. I was really like going through the list and was struggling whom to choose and who to take out, but definitely 1980s Korean music can never be mentioned without this person. His name is 조용필. 조용필. 필. Yes. 조용필. Yes, 조용필. It's like Michael Jackson, Beatles of Western music in America and Britain's super iconic, legendary figure who set the landmark, like a
pillar.
Yeah, like a pillar of the Korean popular music. And BTS's fan club is called ARMY. Have you heard?
I've seen that somewhere on Instagram. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So. 조용필 had the original version of this fan clubs.
Okay.
And then we used to call this clubs, like the bunch of these girls who are going crazy about the singer and like oppa, right? Going to the concert and getting crazy. We used to call them oppa 부대, which means oppa army. Yeah.
What's oppa?
Oh, oppa is the Korean word that you use to refer to or address an older man, or your older brother, or people who are guys that are older than you, but not too old. It's like a friend relationship still, but who is senior than you. I see. That's how they're calling. So if you are older than me, and if we are, socially, we're familiar with each other, either family or good friends, then I will be calling you by oppa, not by your name.
Out of respect, right? Is it?
Yes,
so the culture is out of respect.
Yes, the language has that.
Okay.
So like 조용필 had that oppa, 부대, oppa
because
army.
all the fans were younger fans, that's why.
Yeah, they were going crazy. Like all the high school girls were, going really, really crazy about him. And he wrote beautiful songs. And I'm going to pronounce all these names in Korean. Very authentic Korean. So some of the hit songs that he has is 킬리만자로의 표범, 모나리자. Guess what it is?
Mona Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. It sounds similar. Mona Lisa.
And then there is also this song. It's one of my favorite songs. It's called Now I Wish It Was So. Now I Wish It Was So. It's more ballad style. You heard me sing it once.
Okay. Just now?
Yes. So one part of the song, like in the chorus, it says that I wish it to be the way I wish your tired or your hurt heart will be healed under my heart will be healed under the shade of your tree, like you as a tree, the shade of you under you. And I wish to tell people who are about to leave that all the precious things in the life has always existed right next to you. So that's the message of the song. Very beautiful one. 이젠 그랬으면 좋겠네. 그대 그늘에서 지친 마음 머물게 해. 소중한 건 옆에 있다고. 먼 길 떠나려는 사람에게 말했으면. So that's a very beautiful melody. Was remade, like covered by many different artists as well, contemporary artists. Yeah, so yeah, 조용필 definitely is one iconic figure that you will need to listen to, and I will also briefly recommend some of the songs that I also like from 80s. It's very subjective choice and my own palette, my taste. Great female vocalist. Her name is Lee Sun-hee. Lee Sun-hee. She also did many songs. She has this very nice, soft, vulnerable voice that really penetrates into your heart. But when she sings soft, when she sings loud with a strong voice, her voice is really, really strong. So she was a vocalist who could really provide that very wide range of emotion to the people who listen to it. So Lee Sun-hee is one very good singer. And
how old is she
now?
Yes, 80s. This was during the 80s.
Yeah. So now she's in over 50s. So 조용필 is born in 1950, I think.
1950s.
Yeah, and then Lee Sun-hee is born in 1964. So now she's 56 years old. And she did To Jay, a lot of songs. If you search Lee Sun-hee nowadays, they are providing the English versions, no names of the song titles, right? One very famous one is 돌아와 그대 내게 돌아와 I always miss you. 난 항상 그대 생각뿐이야. 불같은 나의 사랑 피할 수 없어. 그대여 내게 돌아와요. So it has a little folk style feel. But it was a very cute one and catchy lyrics. And there is also another rock, if you are into the rock, right? Rock artist that I would recommend. So the other artist that I would recommend is this rock musician. If you are into the rock music, interested in also strong male voices, the singer's name is Chun In-kwon.
Gon.
Yes, so his name, so Chun In-kwon. This song that I would like to recommend for you to learn a simple lyric song. It's called 돌고 돌고 돌고. Okay, so it means going round and round and round. So basically, it's how the life repeats its cycle, just non-stop. Pretty simple song, a nice one. There are so many other artists. Kim Kwang-seok is an amazing poet of that period. And also I like Kim Wan-sun is a singer who did a dance. It was a solo singer, first time, not first, but then iconic also Madonna kind of figure who did the dance and then singing everything together. And Lee Moon-se is another male singer who did the ballads. Yeah, a lot of people did the ballads. So what I would actually recommend if you want to know a little more about the 80s music, in the Netflix Netflix, there is this show called Reply 1988. Yeah, if you like watch the shows, it's capturing a lot about the culture and then also life of the people in 1980s, late 1980s. Then also their soundtrack. You can find the soundtrack in the different like music platforms, right? Or like the website or YouTube channels to see. Yeah, you can look for the official soundtracks for the show. Then they will also provide you with a lot of different references for you to have a look at.
Yeah, I have one question about 80s Korean 80s music. Since it's actually post-war or
Yes.
colonialization, what is it about? Like what are the songs commonly about? Is it about love, about environment, wisdom, or anything like that? Commonly from the artists that you actually.
Okay, it's really wide. Okay, 80s is now, 80s where the culture flourished, as in artistic expression flourished. The topics became a little more personalized, so more love stories definitely come out, of course, in that context. War period was 1950s. So right after war, we went through 60s and 70s where it was a dark history. I wouldn't say dark, but then yeah, people were singing, songs in praise of the government and stuff like that. Politically used. And then even if you are against the government regime, right, if you're fighting for democracy and stuff like that, then you are completely banned. The society, you get to be jailed and all that. But still people are fighting for it, right? So 아침이슬, like a morning dew, was metaphorical about the hope that people have, which could have been used by the university students as their gathering, like thematic political song. Yes. So then these songs were banned as well, even though it doesn't, like. It can be like implying certain messages, but it's not anything, directly shooting any like a message against whatever was happening. But artists, as an artist, they cared about the voice and what the music does, in the people's heart and in their minds. So they were very mindful about the accountability that they were holding. Many of them were, I think, especially in 60s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s as well. Yeah, but the topics were just so many, and they were talking about, because it was a huge industrialization period as well. Then some people were writing about songs, writing songs about how life just changes. What used to be before this way is no more there.
It's quite reflective.
It's quite reflective, but some are just pure romance. Yeah.
But it's good to see that actually the younger generations in Korea, in South Korea or not, South Korea, are actually using the old songs and somehow preserving the songs.
Yes.
Into the next generation, which is really important.
I think it is very, very important. Yeah, for example, IU, if you've heard of IU did some songs of 산울림. 산울림 is another like echo. It's a 80s band. 산울림 did many good songs as well. So she did the remake and also collaboration with the original artist, and then did the cover of the 80s song. Yeah. So
the feel must be different.
The feel, of course.
Arrangement feel.
I mean, it's not like, that pop modern feel with all this moves, but the inspiration, I think, was just the same, right? It gives you that the feeling of yearning for the past because of how good it was, when it's kind of like people's yearning for 1920s for jazz period, or 40s for the jazz period. People have the yearning for that authenticity, right? To be revived a little bit. I mean, even though it's very much present, there was something about that period of time where those music really nourished our life.
And giving it a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
To the music.
Yeah.
Do we have a song?
Which song?
Anyone.
Oh.
From the 80s, and then if we can listen to both era from the 80s.
Oh,
and I
okay.
think will be nice.
The one that's done during
Yeah.
that time originally,
Mm.
and then now is remade. So the song that I just did, it sang Simple Phrase,
Yeah.
was one, and then Meaning of You. Meaning of You is originally by Sanullim, which is a Mountain Echo, but was covered by later IU. So it goes like 너의 그 한마디 말도 그 웃음도 나에겐 커다란 의미
Mhm.
너의 그 작은 눈빛도 쓸쓸한 그 뒷모습도 나에겐 힘겨운 약속. So if I actually just do a very simple translation of
Yeah.
it, your simple word and your simple smile means a lot to me. Your simple the glance of your look and your lonely shadow of walking away, it's a heavy but hopeful promise for my life. Everything of yours comes to me and becomes a riddle that I cannot solve, and my sorrow blooms as a cosmos, like the flower in during that time there was this train station that was temporary train station, and then so he's comparing it in a very poetic manner,
Yeah.
right? To different images, and yeah, so that's a good one. Isoni also has many songs. I think I'm mentioning more about
The content.
no ballad.
That,
돌고 돌고 is a rock. 무한궤도 신해철 was a rocker, so you can also check for 신해철. Yeah, I was gonna introduce one song, but I forgot.
Okay, while you're thinking about the song, maybe we can talk about how it is sung, like what the traditional way of singing, maybe, and how it influences the current way of singing, because right now it's been westernized, even
It's
for
very westernized.
Malay culture. Right now I'm also learning about Malay singing too, so
I
it would be nice
see.
to actually know about
The Korean traditional singing,
Mm.
I would definitely want to learn. I didn't really get a chance to learn Korean traditional. Traditional music is also very different
Yes,
from
right.
this 80s part, because I'm mentioning about the pop music.
Okay.
I'm not mentioning about the traditional music.
Yeah.
If you're really if you are to talk about the Korean traditional vocal
Mhm.
art, it's very very different. It's got unique characteristics and its own way of training people. A very famous song is Arirang.
Is it a new song?
It's a traditional song.
Oh, I
It's
see.
Korea's
Okay.
traditional song that everybody
Mm.
sings.
Mhm, mhm.
It goes like, and it's very different. I don't know if I don't even dare to imitate it because it might sound a little weird. But let me try. You're getting the pressure.
Go for it.
아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개로 넘어간다. So it's a little different. And everything is chest voice and very throaty. So the
Very
later
strong.
part of it is very 나를 버리고 가시는 님은. So it's also a lot of this movement coming.
Movement, yeah.
And really I'm never trained, so this is completely the area that I'm not
different
confident
area
in.
of singing, if you were
Yeah.
to talk about pop and also tradition.
Yes.
Singing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful genre that I would love to learn more.
Yeah.
It's very soulful
Mm.
in its own way.
Mhm, mhm. Interesting. Okay, what is the song that you forgot the song?
Oh,
go to it.
yes. It's called 추억의 책장을 넘기면.
How many words are there in that title? Like
Sometimes it's very short, sometimes it's very long.
Hmm.
This 추억의 책장을 넘기면 is flipping the pages of your memory book. Yeah. And then it goes
Interesting.
가물가물 My piano is really, I think it has something wrong. I don't play like this usually, right?
For sure.
I'm completely like lost with my sense of music in front of camera. 추억의 책장을 넘기며 오 그날 이루지 못한 아쉬움과 초라한 속죄가 옛 이야기처럼 뿌연 창틀에 먼지처럼 오 가슴에 쌓이네 이젠 멀어진 그대 미소처럼 비바람이 없어도 봄은 오고 여름은 가고 오 그대여 눈물이 없어도 꽃은 피고 낙엽은 지네 오, 내 남은 그리움 세월에 띄우고 잠이 드네 꿈을 꾸네.
Very ballady song.
It's very ballad.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice.
So without the rainstorm, the spring still comes and still summer goes. Without the tears shedding, flower still blooms and the leaf falls.
Without tears, flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, this was a little introduction about the music of 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it was interesting for you to learn a little more about the 80s Korean music, the popular music scene during that time, and some key artists that were providing inspiration for the whole people who grew up in that period of time and who lived through that time. Yeah, if you have any artists that you also know of and then the songs that you want to recommend, please feel free to share with us, and we will be back to you with other interesting episodes, stories to share.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Heidi, for
Thank you.
staying and being here with me and with us. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
The Vocal Studio.